Welcome everybody. So how do you use this course and how do you get the most out of it? Well, the first thing you can do is you can build a lot of games. Now this course is going to start off with a very basic coding with Swift. And the reason why I need to do this is that there's a lot of people in this course who have never even heard of Xcode. And I would say that probably 9 out of 10 people don't even know what Xcode is. So for the first part of the course, it's going to be a little bit slow, but then again, if you know what Xcode is and you have had some coding experience, keep in mind that a lot of people have never coded before. So just keep that in mind, and this course is really designed so that anybody, and it doesn't matter who it is, can go and build games. That's the whole point of this course. So again, by building lots of games, you will get better. It's the secret to success. No one wants you to know, but you've heard it here, and if you build a lot and you code a lot, you will get better. So the next thing you can do is once we start learning about Swift, we'll learn about SpriteKit, because SpriteKit works a little bit differently. There's an extra layer on there on top of Swift that we need to understand. So this crash course is going to show you everything that you need to know to make really effective games. Now, with SpriteKit in particular, it's a newer framework, so that means that there's a lot of omissions if you're familiar to working with other engines such as Unity, because with SpriteKit, again, it's newer, and there's a lot of stuff in there, but it's nowhere near the scope of something like Unity 2D. So one of the ways that I like to make these courses is I like to use a lot of really simple code. In fact, I go the extra mile to make sure that my code is as simple as I can. And when I hire other people to do coding work for my company, Mammoth Interactive, or when I just see other projects on GitHub, everybody else's code is quite verbose. So I like to make sure that my code is extremely simple. All right, so a lot of times when you're going through my course and you're thinking this is, well, really simple, it's done like that on purpose. It's done like that so that everybody can understand what's going on, even if they don't know how to code. So that is something that I like to do. Now you want to think of this as, for example, we were to think of this as a cookbook, right? And it was, let's say, a cookbook for pizzas. There might be some overlap in between the two, in between some of the recipes. Well, the same thing happens with the games that I'm about to make here. The games that I'm going to show you how to make do have some overlap because, for example, if you want to set up a score label, well, I'm going to have to set up a score label for each of the 20 games that we're going to build, and there will be some overlap there. But having said that, it's a step-by-step process, so I have to go through it. So just keep in mind this is going to be a little bit overlap for some of the most basic functions. However, what's going to happen is that when you go through each game, we're going to be using a lot of the same code in different ways, and that will make a completely different game. So for example, we use timers in games extensively, but we make a different timer every single game. In fact, we make 2 or 3 or 4 timers depending on the game that we're looking for, all right? So just to let you know, that is some of the philosophy behind what we're doing. Lastly, if you want to go and ask a question, I am available. I'm available to answer the questions here. And if you see any of the questions here on Udemy that you can answer, well, go ahead and chime in. Because a lot of times, if it's a certain time, I try to respond within 24 to 48 hours. Usually it's less than that, but occasionally it's around the 48 hours. But I will answer as quick as I possibly can. So just make sure you ask the question that you want to do. But if you do have a question that you want to ask, make sure you Google it first, because a lot of times, especially with these tech courses, is that if you have a specific error, you can just Google that error and the answer will really pop up for you. But if you have a question about design or specifically about coding that you haven't found yourself, then I'm here to answer it for you, all right? So let's go ahead and let's start to learn about Swift.